How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be live axle swapping this go-kart.
So you guys might be wondering, why am I going to do this live axle kit swap? Well, I think I'll just show you. Here we go.
Go on, brake.
As you guys can clearly see, this go-kart has no traction, but it is good for doing things like power slides, but only if you do them to the left. That's just about enough messing around for now at least. I've started stripping the go-kart, so now it's time to pull the engine.
Let's see if it all comes out in one piece. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, this is now completely stripped. Let's put the go-kart, I don't know if you can see me, let's put the go-kart up on there. So, let's take a second to talk about what my aims are on this live axle kit swap. I do not want to raise my go-kart an inch. I want it to be the same exact height as it is now. I have a couple ideas on how I'm going to do this, but we'll get into that when we start stripping all this down. We're not going to be going with this drum brake. We're going to be upgrading to a disc brake, a hydraulic disc brake. That's going to be located on this side, and obviously the sprocket still needs to stay here because we're not going to be relocating the engine. I'm going to go ahead and get this all removed and we'll go from there. Alright, after playing the guessing game with what spanner goes on where, we're now good to start removing this axle. There we go. Yeah, if you guys listen, those bearings are definitely shot. It's about time that we change them. I need to change the front bearings too, by the way. So the way I'm going to go about building this is I'm going to have two bits of box section. Obviously it's going to be bigger gauge box section than this. It's going to be 1 inch by 1 inch. So we're going to have box section going from here to here inside the frame, so it's going to be in line with the frame just like that. And in between those bits of box section we're going to mount the bearings. So they're going to be mounted just like that, but inside the frame. This means that I can move the bearings as far up or as far down inside the frame as I want, or inside this new subframe which I'm going to make as I want.
Alright, that's just about enough waffling. Let's get to building.
So, I spent most of last night building this mount for the axle. It's going to look something like this. So it's going to go in here just like this, and it's going to slot in. It's just going to slot in just like that. So as you guys can see, I've built this reinforcing plate which is going to be welded to the existing engine plate. Now this might be a little bit thin gauge angle iron, but I don't think that's going to be a problem because we've got the block of the engine underneath reinforcing this engine plate. So that's basically what it's going to be. We need to get these corners all welded up permanently now, and then we'll weld everything else into place, hopefully permanently onto the frame. Cool, see you guys in a bit. So we've got this thing all welded up and mocked up. Now it's time to figure out the brakes, but we do have a slight clearancing issue with the brakes. So as you guys can clearly see, as this rotates, this bolt head, or actually the nut on the other side of the bolt, will hit this piece of metal, and this is the only piece of metal I have to mount this bracket to the frame. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and bend it here and make kind of like a zigzag pattern. Hopefully it'll clear this bolt head. Either way, we'll see what comes up. I'll get that done and we'll see when these brakes are hopefully functioning. If not, I'll update you with what the next problem is. Alright guys, just while we finish up the brakes, I want to go over this sprocket system with you guys quickly. So as you guys will notice, there is a clear right and wrong side to this split sprocket. We have the 63, which is the number of teeth on one side, and the hashtag 35, which is the standard of chain. So what you want to do is you want to look at your sprocket and you want to identify this little slot here. This slot needs to be lined up when you put it on the hub. If it's not lined up, it'll throw off this gap between the teeth. Now you might be able to get away with it, but I wouldn't recommend trying that. It would probably damage your chain or your sprocket or something along those lines. So what you want to do is you install that side and install that side, making sure they're both nicely lined up. And then go ahead and drop your bolts in there. Now, you do not want to tighten down these bolts until this is tightened onto the axle itself. That's because this hub kind of contracts, and by trying to stop it with the sprocket itself, it would probably have some weird tensions in the sprocket, and that's not something you want. Either it won't be held strong enough on the axle, or it will just slop around on the sprocket. It's not a fun place to be.
So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be brilliant. But I would have wanted to do some more filming on the go-kart and just ripping it around in general, but I came down with a pretty nasty cold, and I'm still on the way to recovering from that. So future updates of the go-kart will be coming soon, and until then, I hope you guys have a good one, and see ya.